Yo, yo, what's really goody? Uh, First video. I'm not going to be using a script or anything. Don't have anything written down. I just want to get better at shooting off the dome. Yeah, just speaking my thoughts without too much organizing. Want to get better at just public speaking and speaking in general. So I don't want to bore you. Let's get right into it. This is why I feel fine sailing the seven seas of the internet or pirating content with a clear conscience. Um, General theme of the video is going to be a little bit, let's say, nihilistic. Um, Basically, everything's kind of shit. Everything's kind of bad. So we just kind of gotta cut corners where we can to get ahead. And anyway, we'll get more into that. But the first thing that comes to mind is like that South Park episode where it's like if you don't buy P Diddy's new album, he's not going to be able to afford a third yacht, kind of thing. Like how much sympathy can you have for super uber rich people when you yourself are struggling? But that's just the grand theme. I have I have other smaller reasons, namely just convenience. It's been said before that uh, pirating is a service issue. Basically, um, if you if you wanna just watch something from your own home, you want to be able to rewind it. You want to be able to pause it, go to the bathroom. You don't want to be charged exorbitant fees for like food. You want to just be able to eat while you're watching without paying an arm and a leg. You want to be able to smoke weed while you're watching it. Um, these are things that are kind of, well, a lot of it is outside of the movie theater's control. They can't control, if the people in the theaters aren't behaving themselves, if they're talking through the movie, if their cell phones go off. Uh, they can't control, they can't just let people pause the movie to go to the bathroom. That would be disruptive to the rest of the audience. But the things that the movie theaters can control are the prices. Prices to see a movie are kind of high, but the prices of the food is unacceptable because I just hate when I hate being made to feel like a hostage. Um, and, and the only reason they're able to charge that is because they have you. They are have you. You've already entered the establishment. You're not going to leave until the movie's over. It's the same with like concerts and shit like that. Like they they charge whatever they want and they can because you're basically their hostage for that small amount of time, and that's so scummy to me. There's no reason for them to not let you bring food and drinks in there, um, other than the obvious reason is that they want to sell you theirs at exorbitant prices. Another thing I want to mention is these streaming services. A lot of the times they have ads even when you pay for them. Even if you pay for like the premium tier, you're still going to be ending up watching ads. And in movie theaters too. Like you pay to go see the movie. You show up when the movie's supposed to start, and then you end up watching so many ads. And then you end up watching trailers, which trailers are also ads. Some people like trailers. I can't stand trailers because I feel like a lot of the time they ruin the movie for you. You want to go into these movies with knowing as little as possible while still knowing enough to make you want to go see the movie. But trailers just they show you all the exciting parts. Comedy movies they show you all the funny parts, and then you see the movie and you're like, oh, I didn't actually laugh because I'd already heard all the best jokes. Um, so yeah, ads ruin everything. I fucking hate ads so much, and so that's a big reason why I don't feel that bad for pirating. Um, like, and a lot of the content that I pirate, uh, I I don't actually want to see it that badly. I don't want to see it bad enough to like pay for it. Um, there are exceptions to that. Like I have a story actually about I really wanted to see 28 Years Later in theaters. I started watching it. I started watching like a bootleg version on my laptop, and within like a minute of watching it, I felt bad because I actually want to support that movie. I want to support Danny Boyle, especially because he said that whether or not a third installment of basically it's going to be a trilogy, the third one hasn't been greenlit, and it's whether or not it gets made is dependent on he said how well the first one does in the box office. So I wanted to be part of the. I wanted to pay to see that movie in theaters. Well, I didn't want to see it in theaters even. I wanted to pay to support the movie, but I still would rather watch like a bootleg version on my laptop, even if I have to pay for it. Because I've just gotten so used to the convenience of that, and like, oh, another thing, movie theaters I forgot to mention, bed bugs. That's a big thing in movie theaters. Like people get bed bugs in movie theaters. I don't want to deal with that shit. Um, but anyway, so my story about going to see 28 Years Later in theaters. I ended up pausing or turning it off after about a minute when the action scene hit, because I was like, okay, this is an action scene. This is a zombie movie. I want to see it on the big screen. I want like the loud, clear audio. I don't want like the bootleg version. Um, and I just wanted like the theater experience for an action horror movie that I was really looking forward to. So I went out and I drove to my local theater, the closest one to me in Hamilton. Hamilton, Ontario it's at this really shitty mall, notoriously shitty mall. Somebody just got murdered there, like last week or the weekend before that. It's called what's it called? Jackson Square. It's a cesspool. But I read online that you could see a movie there, and even though it's normally paid parking, if you see a movie, then you could get free parking. You just had to get your ticket validated or something like that. So I was driving around looking for parking, figuring out where you're supposed to park. I couldn't figure it out. I parked illegally. I went inside and asked the security guard where I should park and whether or not it was true that I could, get free parking validated. He said, yes, it's true. Go park in the underground parking lot. I go to the underground parking lot, and it just says it says authorized parking only everywhere. So I go right up to the door, like it's a really narrow kind of like hallway up to this door, and the door opens. So I'm like kind of conflicted. I'm like, the guy told me to park here, and the door is opening for me, but it's saying authorized parking only. So I just got sketched out. I didn't want to get a ticket, so I backed out of this narrow hallway, and then I ended up fucking crashing. I ended up like damaging my car. I was scared for a second that had damaged the property, but I didn't. It was just a concrete corner that I dinged my car on. And I still wanted to go see the movie, so I backed out of there, went back to my illegal spot, asked the security guard again, like, what's going on? Why does it say authorized parking only everywhere? And he looks at me like I'm an idiot, and just instead of communicating with his words, he just starts like walking like I'm supposed to follow him. And then, yeah, he's being a dick. He's acting like he actually says it's common sense. It's common sense that you can park somewhere where it says authorized parking only. And I just said, okay, whatever. So I went back to go park down there. But then the second time I went to go down there, I heard an alarm going off, and I was like, shit, I hope that alarm isn't like because I was in an accident. So I just got sketched out and I drove off, and I just went and pirated the movie. Even though, I had all these reasons to not want to do that, I ended up doing that anyway because, like I said, everything kind of sucks, Life is shit sometimes, and you have to cut your corners where you can. And in this situation, even though I really wanted to support that movie, I ended up pirating it anyway. So yeah, that's my story, and that's why I am a pirate with a clear conscience. Yarr.